Short answer, yes. The Critical Role team has leveled up their game and has taken streaming D&D to a new level. And if you want to know more, here are the 3 biggest reasons to keep watching this season specifically of Critical Role. Firstly, the production value is off the charts in this season. You got new lights, a new set, a new table. The audio is considerably better in my opinion, and streamed D&D has never been this good. Mercer and the CR production team have set a new standard in my opinion for a streamed D&D show. After the launch of Campaign 3, Critical Role has shown that it is still the apex predator among D&D streaming shows, at least in terms of production quality. And then my second reason, Matt Mercer. He put on a clinic tonight, y'all. He was in control of the entire game from the first minute to the last. His pacing, the way he structured his story, bringing in different characters, I mean, it was perfect. It was perfect pacing from a DM. His descriptions, they were on point. He described a massive and amazing city with such ease, and it flowed so simply. Like any dungeon master, sometimes he stalled, but it was so easy to overcome. It mesmerized me. He just grabbed a paper and he would just find the information that he needed. His prep was so on point and so exact. He knew exactly what he needed, it seemed like, and it was incredible. We were watching a master perform his craft. I mean, despite being in a new location, he knew his world and his lore so deeply. Everything felt in his reach, and more importantly, in the reach of the players. Things made sense, and they flowed. Information was not overwhelming to me, and I don't think it was overwhelming to the players either. Newcomers to Critical Role can jump into this series no problem. I watched this episode with 3 CR noobs, basically, and all of them could understand the story, could understand the characters, could understand the world. This seems to be the perfect onboarding point for people new to Critical Role, new to D&D streaming shows in general. I watched this episode with 3 CR noobs, and they understood everything. They were able to get locked into the story, and they loved it. I watched this episode with someone who had never watched a D&D streaming show before, and she loved it. However, one watched the Intimate History released by Critical Role, and they were the most locked in. So if someone is going to be watching it, I would suggest just that 10 minutes of buy-in, because it increases the experience so much. Also, Matt flexed his NPC muscles. His NPCs that he created in this episode were incredible. There is 1 or 2 that specifically stand out to me, but if you watch this episode, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about when I say that they just locked me into the story immediately with their atmosphere, their gravitas, their presence. DMs should watch this episode as an example of how to run a session 1. I've run 30 session 1s, and I feel like every time I run one, I have these butterflies in my stomach because it's difficult to run a session 1. But Matt made it look so simple and so easy. It was immaculate. And then my last and third reason is that the players were just incredible. They felt, played, and looked like veterans the entire stream. Each had a confidence and a swagger when playing their character, and everyone brought their A-game. I just know that there are backstories and role-playing ideas galore in all of these characters. Sam Riegel and Ashley Johnston are worth watching alone. I mean, just without any of the other fantastic performances and fantastic actors, even without Matthew Mercer, those 2 can just carry this episode on their own. These players aren't pushing, they're comfortable, and they seem eager to go into this next campaign. It's honestly just a joy to watch. Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, I think we're in for something truly special for this campaign. This is the time to start watching Critical Role if you have not already. This was one of the most engaging sessions I've ever watched from Critical Role. For me, the previous first sessions kind of dragged for Critical Role, and that's understandable. We're meeting lots of new people, getting lots of new information, doing lots of new things. I loved the episodes, but they didn't have that normal juice of a normal Critical Role video, that thing that I kept going back to. And remember, this is my personal opinion. Maybe both other session 1s you were super engaged in. And don't get me wrong, I was engaged in certain parts of those videos too. However, I was not engaged to this extent all the way through. This session just had the juice and more. This was Critical Role at its best, and I am eager to watch more. Just go watch Critical Role Campaign 3. Critical Role's magic has not gone anywhere, and they've proven to be just as special as they were when they started their first campaign. If you want more from this channel, check out this video right here, and thank you for entering the dungeon.